Welcome to another episode of the Top Corner Podcast, and today's host is me, and my co-host is Julian. Julian, how are you doing today?
Earlier shoot than usual.
Yeah.
I'm very tired, but we will get this thing done. We are actually kicking off the episode right in time for the Chelsea-Tottenham Monday matchup, so that's good stuff. So it'll be on in the background. We have less matches to cover than usual, but we've got some news.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a lot of news.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and kick off into that news. What do you got for me today?
Well. We have Madrid. Well, I was waiting today. What was it? Today or probably yesterday, not sure when. And there was a news outlet on an article about Mbappe and Madrid not really having any contact as to
and they're legally allowed to at this point, right? Isn't it within a year, or is it just within a 6-month window? That's where I think certain contracts are different, but yeah, I mean you're right. Madrid expressly stated we have not communicated.
Yeah, they haven't communicated.
It's all a gentleman's agreement, I guess.
Yeah. So at this point they haven't had any communication. So but the article also stated that will be determined by like December or next year when Mbappe's contract is
whenever he
up.
feels like
I
it.
think his contract will be up by probably by by next summer. But it will have to be determined by December. Start making moves, and in that same Madrid space, and are they interested in Musiala if Mbappe doesn't come? But I don't feel like Musiala will be. I don't feel like that will be a good move.
They're very different players.
Yeah. Also because you already have an 8 or a 9, whatever you want to call it. First 9 or
we were talking about that. I think either last week or the week before, where like Musiala coming into the club, that would be dangerously close to what Bellingham's currently doing.
Yeah.
And at this
especially
point,
that Bellingham is doing great.
Yeah. Well, and Musiala is too, but Bellingham is obviously like playing on a different level, and so that's like that really is the last person that you want to try to replace or bring someone in whose skill set is even remotely similar to. Very strange, but yes, it does seem like Madrid might have a little happy feet scenario, like they're a little antsy about getting Mbappe locked down.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't think they should worry about that, because where else is he going to go?
Yeah.
Where else is he actually going to go that he's going to be happy? The only thing that he would ever do is stay at PSG.
Yeah.
And if you're Madrid, you have to think that seeing Mbappe go to like stay at PSG.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's not going to help them win the Champions League. They're probably not going to ever win it. So he's not a threat to us. If we don't have him, PSG have him, which means that he's not going anywhere. So be stuck. I don't care.
There's always a lot of a striker that they could replace with. There's always a lot. Someone like probably Victor Osimhen. They could poach him. There's always a lot.
They have other options.
They have a lot of options. So, but yeah, and also in that same Madrid space, we had Reece James and. Madrid interested in Reece James to replace Carvajal or for potential replacement. And also we had Alphonso Davies, who I think he told some news outlet in I think was that in Germany. I kind of brushed through it this morning that he will be potentially interested to move to Madrid or play at Bernabeu.
It's always bold when you're under contract for a team that is still playing well.
Yeah.
And still going, nope, I'd still like to go up the ladder slightly. But yeah, I mean, they obviously need to change. Like, the fullback scenario is where they're really lacking the most. Carvajal, Fran Garcia, and Lucas Vazquez. Like, you've got to phase out Carvajal for age, despite him being the best of those three by a lot.
Yeah. That's interesting, because if you have...
He might have another season left too, Carvajal, I think.
Yeah. Well, as a if they ever get someone like that as a sub, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, just
absolutely.
because probably their vision is now trying to get. I mean, you're talking about Madrid, so they in a space space of 2 to 5 years, they always want to be contenders. They always want to win something.
Yep.
So in that sense, if you're kind of past your prime, a little slow, and you could be a potential good sub, but they probably just, and the way I'm saying it is they wanna win. They wanna win, and if you wanna win, and especially that they have a lot of young talent and they just gotta fill in these spaces, then they will be good to go. You get Reece James and you get Alphonso Davies. Yeah, you are set up for your full flanks. I'm talking.
But you're assuming that Reece James is going to stay healthy, though. That's the issue.
Yeah, that's
unless there's something
thing.
going on in training. At
That's
Chelsea
why
I don't know.
that's why I'll keep Carvajal, get Reece James.
definitely,
Just because we can alternate.
But you need that left-footed fullback on the other side as well.
Yeah, and if I get Alfonso Davies, I'll still be in good shape. So, I would say feeling. For me, if I was Madrid, I'll probably first try to fill in a central back and a striker.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Moving on to Calvin Phillips. It seems like all of you fuckers watching this channel love Calvin Phillips. We woke up to some funny news today regarding the channel with Calvin Phillips. Juventus want him. I can't think of a better team to
the Juventus.
let him just kind of chill with.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, in all seriousness, he is a good midfielder.
Yeah.
I think that I don't want to say that because then that really puts a Premier League bias, but it is objective in terms of stats, in terms of overall quality of players. I think that it's a good thing for him to get to stay at a top club, probably go for more money than he should be worth.
Yeah.
But also, it doesn't matter to the player how much they're worth on the market. That's purely up to the clubs. And the clubs are shisty little money men anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But it's a good place for him to work hard.
Yeah.
It's still a promotion from where he was at with Leeds. Big club, he'll get more playing time, he'll work harder, hopefully. But when he makes mistakes, it's still not at the same level as if he was at a Liverpool, at a Manchester City, at a Real Madrid, or even a Barcelona, if they're trying to, or a Bayern Munich. He'll be able to make mistakes. But he'll also be able to show up and have probably some freedom as well. They really do need someone new at Juventus. I mean, they're doing well. They're currently second in the Serie A, but they do feel like they've still lost. A bit
Oh
of
my
sharpness
goodness,
that they're
Tottenham
expecting.
just scored. That's crazy. Just wanted to say that.
Son of a bitch. I'm trying to split my. I feel like an iguana with my eyes going in two different directions.
Yeah, and that was a great goal too.
Damn it! All right, well, was it Kulusevski?
I think
It looks like it. They're all hugging one guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a really good move for him, though. Overall, you would agree with that, right?
Yeah,
Good.
I would definitely agree with that.
Assuming that he's still going to work hard.
Yeah, Calvin Phillips. There's not a lot that I can tell about his game, but I think if he's going for Juventus, that's really good. He can still develop. He can fit in. So.
Yeah, and just and like I said, lower stakes overall, so that he can feel more confident, but also still have a good squad around him, all things considered, globally.
Yeah.
I think it's a good move for him. It looks like Liverpool are interested in Leverkusen's Florian Wirtz.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. It's a very well-rounded player. You have to think that that's possibly making up for a bit of a lack of energy in the midfield, perhaps sort of an admission of guilt with their signing of was it Wataru Endo?
Yeah.
Not really performing much or doing much of anything. Older. I understand that you want to bring someone in that has experience, but it looked like how many minutes has he played since he signed in August? He played like 1 game, 2 games.
Yeah.
Probably a combined 120 minutes, something like that. But yeah, I mean, that sounds like a good thing for that. Very young. I believe he's like 20 years old.
You know what's crazy? I feel like the whole Bayern Leverkusen effective or players, not the whole, but I feel like a good chunk of them will be going to new clubs in the next 1 to 2 years. You're talking about Boniface, you're talking about Hoffman, you're talking about Waits, you're talking about Grimaldo. They all leaving.
They're gonna get picked apart like a Brighton,
all
like a West
because they're
Ham,
performing at such a high level for most of them are really young. So you have for teams Hoffman is 31, not him, but Victor Boniface. Yeah. He's 22.
Grimaldo's like 27, 26.
2 assists. Yeah. Waits is 20.
Yeah.
So he got plenty of play.
He's got a lot of opportunity.
So he's gonna go regardless. You got Grimaldo 28. Well, Grimaldo has been playing for a while, but he is performing well. He might as well be picked up by someone. but that whole team at least is there's a lot of people that I can see, a lot of goals, at least a lot of goals.
Yeah.
But yeah, coming back to that, I think Liverpool, they probably, he will fit right into their system, and Liverpool is probably in trying to, or they're looking at rebuilding potentially, getting back to their ashes, getting back to Liverpool we saw in 2019 and whatnot.
They need to have someone replace the hole that Henderson and Milner kind of left. That very energetic, like, even though they're not the most athletic, which Wirtz is more athletic than they were, but just that can-do attitude, the taking of the instructions, the very hard worker, even if you're down 2-0, you're still work because you can climb back, and we've seen that as proof. Very interesting signing for him, and it's always frustrating when a higher up club makes a decision that makes a lot of sense.
Anthony getting United getting 20 Gabriel Barbosa for Anthony. I think Barbosa plays in Flamengo, Brazilian.
I don't know why they would be interested in accepting that trade. I mean, I understand like letting Barbosa go for some money, but I mean, Anthony's proven that he can't hit any shot on target, and he can't even really kick Jeremy Doku's legs properly. We learned that last week.
Well, is he Brazilian?
He is Brazilian.
Oh, that makes sense.
Go back home. Forget about your career and be done.
Well, he might as well go perform for his national or for his country, so it's adding value back home. And AC Milan looking at Arsenal, Jacob Kiwior. Wow, that's a hard name.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for them because Tomori has not played very well. They've had a lot of issues conceding goals at the back, especially when they have so many issues with scoring goals. It wouldn't make a lot of sense for Arsenal to sell. Because he is very easily third within the rotation, and they've proven they need him during the midweek games, during cup games. That wouldn't be someone that I'd be willing to let go of. If you had one more person in the depth chart, maybe. But they really do only have 3 class defenders that you would want to put out against any sort of convincing side. So unless they were willing to make some sort of turnaround in January as well, use that cash to immediately go buy someone else, but they can't just let somebody go. They don't have enough space coverage in that window. But also, he just got there. This is his first full season for them, so like that is I understand why a club would want him. I don't see why, with such thin depth and such little time at the club to prove himself, why Arsenal or Kevior himself would be interested in that. Personally, but stranger things have happened.
Varane in January might leave. He might leave United for Saudi.
It was Al Nassr, I believe, was the club.
Yeah. Well, that's not a bad move. Varane has
for him. It's a bad move for United.
Yeah, it's not a bad move for him because he's proved himself. He's had a career. He's won many trophies. He's a World Cup winner. He's how many 3, 4, 5 times Champions League winner. And at some point, one of the best defender and one of the guys that locked down Messi at some point. So
well, he's at a good age too, where because like a lot of the guys that go to Saudi, they really only have like 2 years left, period, regardless of the level that they're at. He's kind of in a spot where he could play 5 or 6 years there and get more money, because it's like a lot of these guys are taking a big paycheck for a short contract. He could play there for more years than most of the guys that have gone there, and get a lot of money out of it, and while still having the career that he's had and prove himself. So
definitely
good for him. United can't let him go though.
Yeah, that would be bad on their side unless they find a replacement for him.
But they need more than one. That's what I'm saying. Like, you need to replace Johnny Evans. You need to replace Harry Maguire, and in time you need to replace Varane. You do not need to start with Varane. So like they've got 3 defenders they got to let go of, and they're choosing the best one to let go of first. It's a very United move, which I'm in support of, but they shouldn't do it.
I would probably go for Johnny Evans on probably Maguire. Have Varane kind of have that transition between the new guys that's coming. If he's a youngin, just kind of teach the hope.
Son just scored again.
Son just scored again. Oh, that was Salah. That's great.
He looked beautiful though. He's flying his ass off.
Yeah, no. Tottenham is a different team this year, and
Chelsea just can't defend either. They're gonna get more on him. Oh, that's close though.
Yeah. Well. We have Zidane that said. Well, he explained why he hold himself out of the position, and I read this one article, and he was saying that.
Why would I do that?
Well, he actually said because of the language barrier. Okay. But I was like, Zidane speaks English.
That's a very safe answer.
Yeah. When I read that, I was like, but he speaks English though.
Yeah.
So I don't, and it's not like sometimes you're not probably even 10% fluent in that language, but Zidane is more than 10.
Yeah.
And most of the French guys, have you seen Mbappe speak? Mbappe speaks English, probably like 50%. Even I don't know if you follow basketball. Wemba, the new guy, then he speaks English. Yeah. So that when I read that, it was like, oh man, that's actually a good move. He could be a politician.
Yeah, I mean, he makes very good decisions. He probably makes other good decisions, like not walking into burning buildings.
Yeah.
Not spitting while riding a motorcycle. Just very safe decisions. I will not coach United.
Yeah. And because of the language barrier, and he says when he comes, there's a lot to express. There's a lot that his systems are not his system, but that there's a lot that goes into winning a game, and he would want to win.
Yeah.
So I think at this point it's kind of difficult to touch United. Someone that needs to touch United has to be really strong of character, has to have needs and demand from the get-go, has to probably be authoritative, has to be someone that will tell everyone that it's either me or nothing, It's either how I do things, and you will have to change a lot of team to the mentality. You have to bring new blood in. You have to bring youngins that you can kind of put your put your own system in your mind.
Yeah.
So
and it's unfortunate because Erik ten Hag did start with that it's me or no one with the Ronaldo standoff and then with Jadon Sancho, but then you start getting into technically we're completely absent.
Mm-hmm.
We're not getting any results. Your team sheets don't make a lot of sense either. So it's like if he had really started and been able to improve on that whole, I'll bench Ronaldo. I don't care.
Yeah,
like it's me and it's this club.
This is just a bad move from him.
Yeah.
This is just a bad move. He could have cut Ronaldo at some point, but not how he did it. Oh, just at that beginning. Bring even new players. Even when you bring fresh blood, you have this kind of guru Ronaldo kind of help them transition.
Yeah.
But the way he went about it, and it just the thing is just a fiasco.
I supported how he did that. What I thought was the issue was he wasn't able to follow up. Because like you said, like you need fresh tactics. He ended up just bringing in a bunch of players that he already knew from Ajax.
Yeah.
Expecting them to work immediately, and they didn't. So then that shows lack of confidence. You know what I mean? Like he did everything in the beginning right, and then he just slowly kind of devolved, and you start seeing like, oh well, they really don't have any tactics when they're on the pitch, do they? Like they're not really doing anything. Like what's the circumstance? What are we actively trying to do? It looks like we're actively just trying to keep someone from scoring, but yet we can't even do that.
Yeah.
So
Pogba has been officially banned 2 years.
2 years, man. Well,
2 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny to me because it feels like he's been suspended for 6 years. It's just now he doesn't have to practice with the squad now.
Yeah. Well, because he's been banned, I think that after the 2 years, if he still loves football, he might come back, but just probably end up in France. Probably in Nice.
Did he love football?
I don't know. You never know. He might be. Oh, I want to play some more.
He doesn't love football. He doesn't even love his brother.
Well, that's a complicated family affair.
He loves himself.
So, on the other hand, Newcastle Arsenal, there was a lot of. I know it was Dortmund Bayern first, but let's talk about Newcastle Arsenal. There was a lot of polemic. There was a lot about the game. What did you think about the game? It's like I watched the game, but Arsenal did miss some key talent, also key players.
Yeah, for sure.
But Newcastle did a great job at containing them outside the box.
Yeah, I mean, you still had Saka and Martinelli there they did not show up at all.
Yeah, and the Newcastle did a great job at taking spaces from a lot of the wingers when it was time. They overall, I think they really set the rhythm for the game, and they controlled the game perfectly. And it was up to Arsenal to make a move or to score, but they didn't.
Yeah, it was a very rough, scrappy game. There weren't a lot of convincing chances overall, but what it was a very brutal game for like hard-earned possession.
Yeah,
you know, when you had possession of the ball, like you had to earn it. It was very fast-paced and very, very, very tetchy in the center of the park. And again, Declan Rice has a fantastic game.
Yeah.
And you can tell that he was sort of attempting tactically. It wasn't just like a decision that he made to be more of the offensive build-up, kind of like an Odegaard.
Yeah.
But obviously not with the same skill set, not doing the exact same things, but ultimately being in charge of moving the ball up and instead of distributing it out, really looking to actually create those first-hand chances. Not as effective as Odegaard in that way, but at the end of the day, not many players right now in the Premier League are that good at what Martin Odegaard does. He still had a great game. I think that it was a really good day for Gabriel and Saliba. I think Gabriel in particular, because I do think that foul that led to the goal on Joe Linton, that was a foul.
There's a lot of controversies about that.
The difference is if he had bumped him, it's one thing, but the issue is that you actively see the arms extending outward for a push.
Yeah.
And that's where it becomes the foul. You can shoulder check people if you're both going for the ball. That's not an issue. You can send somebody flying. Joe Linton's a big guy. I wouldn't be surprised if he did that to someone.
Yeah.
But you see him actively push strong enough to where Gabriel's head goes back a little bit.
So there was
a straight up push.
There was three things in this in this goal, right? The one will be the ball out of bounds. 2 will be the potentially offside, and 3 will be the push. So if I'm eliminating the ball out of bounds, I think for me it will be a goal. It will be a goal. But when I watched it, the ball was out of bounds before the cross.
It was, and they didn't
definitely out.
They didn't spend enough time on it either.
That's why I was. Because
the offsides one was easier to call, but like, you're not gonna zoom in. You're like, what happened to their little bullshit like lines that they drew?
I think the whole VAR a point of conversation was more on the action in the goal, forgetting the action that led to that.
Yep.
And for me, that's why I said the push I could do with that. If it was just the push and offside, because it wasn't an offside, so then the question would be, was it a push or no? But we could do that. What I could do with that. But when I watched the action, the cross from what was the cross from? That was
Bruno, wasn't it?
Was it Bruno?
Guimaraes? I believe so.
It might be.
I thought he chased it down in the corner.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because he should have possibly been sent off at some point in the game as well.
Yeah, he was. And
really and to be fair, before anyone says anything about it, I think
he kept
Havertz could have possibly gone as well.
Yeah,
that was a really risky challenge, and then he kept pushing the there were a lot of players that should have been carded either early or more extreme in the game. It became very chippy, and then that allows for Joe Linton's a very passionate player. Which passionate in this game sometimes means I make stupid choices when I'm pissed off. And so that push, I think, was part of that because it was a very chippy thing.
It's 1-1.
They just leveled it up.
Chelsea just scored. But I think that what the Arteta said. Arteta said that was like a 3-point loss. I don't think Arsenal played well enough for the game or for them to have won that game.
Oh, I agree with that.
I wouldn't saying it was a 3-point loss is a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
At best would have been a 1-1. 1-1 in the sense that I could, if that goal was disallowed, the game could have ended up 0-0. But again, we were talking in hypotheticals and ifs and maybes because we don't know too because scoring a goal sometimes set the motion of how the game is going to go mentally and mentally especially. So you don't know if it was 0-0, Arsenal could have scored because now they know we are still level up. So anything can happen.
And I'll say this as well. Removing the 3 VAR checks in that build-up, I think that Ramsdale makes the save.
Yeah.
Because David Raya has proven so far he is not very reliable in punching out crosses.
Mm-hmm.
He is not as big. He is not as tall or as imposing. And he has a tendency to flap at crosses. I think that if Ramsdale is in the box at that point, he has the height and the positioning to get up and at least get the ball out of the reach of a Joe Linton, Anthony Gordon, and Gabriel right on the goal line. That's the thing. He let the ball drop right at the goal line. At least Ramsdale, I think at least, would have fisted it out and gotten it at least toward the edge of the box where you had to reshape and rebuild the offensive buildup. I think that, call it what you want about the 3 VAR calls that were skeptical. I think if Ramsdale is in there, and again, the scoreline could have been something different. Maybe Ramsdale makes a mistake later in the game. I don't know because he didn't play. But what I do, I genuinely believe that Ramsdale would have gotten that ball out for sure.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can say. I feel like the whole now it just puts back in question the whole VAR. Like, I know Pep Guardiola said it was a sensitive topic. Are we gonna finally address the issues, especially in the Premier League, about VAR all year round?
Because it's really the Premier League that's the most affected.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. So the referee's body. And even the players and some of the managers got to be involved to talk about these issues, because so far this season there's been way too many VAR polemics.
Speaking of, they just ruled off the Chelsea goal from a VAR.
So,
and they ruled off another one from Tottenham like 8 minutes ago. And again, we haven't seen it to know if they're good calls or not, but it's just like, fuck, every single goal is being brought down to this crazy, I don't know. It's obviously not working.
I wish we could go back in the days of no VARs, but again, if we go back to the days,
look good to me.
Well, if we go back to the days, we were gonna have the hand of God. We're gonna have goals like that. So then the question will become: how do we safely win a game, or how do 2 teams go in battle and play the sport right? So
and it really does affect morale in the stadium as well.
Because
there are no big releases of energy from the crowd. It's always a sort of standing around and waiting for the linesman to figure out what the fuck is going on.
And that is true.
And players don't even celebrate anymore.
It kind of kills that atmosphere.
You kind of just have to wait for about 30 seconds, sometimes 4 minutes. And by that point, I don't want to celebrate. I don't care if my team did score or not. Like, it's cold, it's raining, I've got to piss, and you're taking away my happy moment.
Yeah, it's got to be in the moment. You can't just on the Klassiker or the Klassiker.
There you go. That was nice. That was convincing enough.
Got to work on my German a little bit.
Hey, sounds solid to me.
So on that side, man, that wasn't no Klassiker. That was a beat down. That was nothing. That wasn't. I didn't even recognize that one.
And Bayern could have done more in the first half too. That's the thing.
Yeah,
they missed quite a few opportunities in the build-up. They were underperforming.
How about Harry Kane? 17 goals so far.
17
goals in 13 games or 14. Not sure about the exact numbers.
It is, but as impressive as it is, that is why that's what's expected of him. Like he's doing exactly what's expected of him, and he is a lot is expected of him as well. And he's doing everything that he was expected to do, that he said he was going to do.
And he's doing this in that league too. I'm not gonna say because that league is not better or better, but judging on the intensity and comparing to other leagues, that's normal for him to do that. Because you think of Harry Kane as he's a pure striker. So he's someone you get the ball to, you give him open spaces, or you give him spaces, he's gonna score.
Sorry.
So just they score again,
dude.
Cancelo. Yeah, Chelsea just scored. What?
I'll take this.
I feel like that.
I'll take this. You watch this. It's a good thing.
I feel like that's a good. This game is a good game. Now what is
fucking
allowed?
Oh my god. Oh my. Okay. I'm not watching this anymore. I was gonna turn it off. This is amazing.
So,
no, and don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Of course, Harry Kane scores a hat trick when Mats Hummels and Schlotterbeck are in the back. They had a really bad game together. They do not have the pace for any, especially Mats Hummels.
Yeah.
Mats Hummels is past the ability to play in the Champions League level
Yeah.
For club. It's just it's just not really going to happen. There were a lot of chances that Bayern had where they had amazing build up, sometimes straight from the back. And it's not that they were squandered chances or wasted opportunities or bad shots. Plenty of shots on target. The issue is that a lot of the shots were straight at the keeper.
Yeah.
Straight at the Sane had a couple. I think Kane had one. Coman had one. But Sane in particular, and again, and when he plays well, and he did still play very well. I'm not saying he didn't.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying in that first half. Musiala had 2 or 3 as well. Where like this thing could have been 8-0 if they in that final bit of play were able to just get it over the top or get it slightly around the keeper. But but a lot of those shots on target were literally right in the keeper's chest and hands.
Yeah.
But no, I mean it could have been way worse. But
they're checking the disallowed goal.
Of course they are. But the more important thing, I mean, you win 4-0. You could have won 8, but you didn't. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's more important that we saw such good distribution of the ball.
Yeah.
So many opportunities created. It doesn't matter so much at that point at 4-0 that each strike didn't find its way in the back of the net, even though they were very close and very easily could have. And on another day, maybe they would. It was still a great performance by Bayern Munich. They play very well. I think that they're finding a rhythm.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that it's happening without Joshua Kimmich. I do think that he's very good. Tuchel does not seem to like him that much, but he also doesn't like Goretzka that much either, but he plays Goretzka a little bit more. I think that he's really gotten good form out of Sane. As well. Sane has really had a bit of a renaissance this season.
He's playing well.
Musiala is odd. Like he had a couple of opportunities where he was oddly wasteful. He's very good on the ball. I genuinely, he's a great, very young player.
Mm-hmm.
Very hard to get the ball off of him. Occasionally he does have 1 or 2 of those extra little bits of movement, extra touches, attempts at skill. Nothing near the Neymar level of wasting opportunity to implement skill. But sometimes less is more, and I think Harry Kane proves that.
Yeah.
But Harry Kane's also just a better goal scorer than Musiala anyway. Just like Musiala's a better dribbler than Harry Kane is anyway. Doesn't matter.
Well, on that, it's weird because have you ever heard of the Harry Kane curse? Just happened again this week. They were eliminated from the German Cup, and I was like, man, when is this guy gonna win a trophy?
Yeah.
You're gonna be eliminated by the third team, the team in the 3rd division. So that was crazy.
What if he doesn't? Yeah. What if he ends his career with no silver?
No, I feel like they're gonna win. At least, I mean, it's Bayern. That the league every year is just. People are just disputing the 2nd place because Bayern already won it before the play. On the other side,
this VAR check was almost 4 minutes long.
Yeah,
they're doing the same thing again from the Arsenal Newcastle matchup.
Yeah,
he's going to the fucking monitor. Okay,
if you already go to the monitor, it means there's a lot of.
But it's already been almost 4 minutes, and now they're going to the fucking monitor.
Every time you go to a monitor, there's doubt, and when there's doubt, it means
it'll more than likely
highly So, well. I watched not watched the whole game, but Rayo Vallecano against Real Madrid. That's not on the but
0-0.
0-0. So every time games like this or Madrid are in games like this, the issue of the striker arises because when
they need someone to punch it in at the last minute.
Yeah, when Bellingham is not scoring goals, or at least not kind of uplifting Madrid, you can tell now that Madrid really needs a striker. That's when it really shows because the ability to create is probably there, but not to finish. Especially in games that I call this 1-0 games. It's the same thing like Newcastle, Arsenal games that a goal will determine who wins the match.
Yep.
Yeah. So. I watched that. Everybody did great, but the 3 things that I would say, Madrid still need a striker.
Yeah,
they need a striker.
Fullbacks.
They need fullbacks.
Like 3 of them, but really 2.
Yeah, and probably defending too. The defense they need someone.
Who were the 2 center backs? was it Rudiger and Alaba?
Rudiger and Alba.
Yeah, and Alaba's just, it's not his position. And we say this almost every single game that we cover of Real Madrid. Some sort of weird own goal, some sort of, he's either poor in transition, but it's not his skill set. And most of the issues that he makes are under those pretenses of well, if he was still a left back or a right back, but he doesn't have the pace for that. And it's like, well, maybe he needs to be playing that same position at a lower level.
Yeah.
Because the transition to center back at this highest level it's not the answer for him or for the club.
Yeah. No, I get that, I get that. So, well, Real Vallecano has this ability to hold clubs like Barcelona and Madrid to a 0-0 or even win sometimes. So, we know Valverde could have scored he had an opportunity. He could have scored.
He had a big opportunity.
Yeah, but he didn't score. We don't know if Mbappe is going to go to Madrid, and if he does, they need someone like him. And also, Madrid is in this state where they just need, like I said before, they just need these pieces. And I wanted to say, I don't know if you know Nasri. He played for City. Is this Samuel Nasri? He's a highly technical player, but I think he said this. He said, Mbappe should stay at PSG. It is better to be king of your village. But at what cost?
Yeah, of course. And
at what cost?
And
especially if you're that talented.
Yeah. Well, and we sort of touched on that on the beginning of the show. I wouldn't be surprised if he stays at PSG. But you sort of write him off. You're just like, okay, just go, be done.
Would you want to be like a Neymar in the sense that you've been potentially called by big and by all the greats that you're the next in line to be the great? People have seen your potential. They know what you can in a team that has potential of winning. Then individually, if you are in that team, you are also set up individually to win trophies. But yet, you still don't get to the level of expectation that everyone is thinking you will.
Yeah. Don't.
This might be a name all over.
Yeah. Don't stay at your level playing to be safe. Like once you've gotten to this high of a level, you have to keep going up the ladder.
Yeah.
What's the point of staying in place? But again, I wouldn't be surprised either way. But people are acting like Mbappe has a lot of options. He really only has two options if you think about it: Real Madrid or stay at PSG. Nothing else really makes that much sense.
Yeah.
I don't see him trying to go to Liverpool because he was linked there for a little while.
Yeah, but I don't think Liverpool see him going to a good move for him too.
I don't see him going to any other clubs than those two, because he'd either rather stay and make a lot of money in France, because he does like being in France. Yeah. I get that, because he is from Paris. Like, I get it, but the only other club that makes sense is to win trophies with is Real Madrid. So he doesn't have as many options as people think. Yeah. And
Romero is out on red card, and Chelsea, Tottenham is 1-1. That's crazy.
Yep.
But on this week, we have Champions League coming up this week, I think so. Tuesday and Wednesday. There's some great games. Games that I'm looking forward to. I mean, Arsenal versus Sevilla. I just want to see how Arsenal will do against Sevilla.
Should be a 1-0 at home. You would assume that they still get those 3 points. They have something to prove coming back. They already got 3 points against Sevilla in Spain. You've got to think that they'll be able to rectify the mistakes from this past weekend. And then what is it? Dortmund and Newcastle.
Yeah.
And then Milan and PSG. Which now that the group is shake down the way that it has, the PSG Milan game is not quite as important as the Dortmund Newcastle game.
Yeah.
But
Milan could try to pull up a weird move.
They just can't score, though.
Yeah.
We talked about that last week.
Yeah.
Their goal difference for the 3 games is shocking. Absolutely shocking.
That is
and to be fair, Dortmund's is not much better. I've got it right here. In the Champions League, Dortmund have 1 goal for, and then 4 goals allowed.
Yeah.
And then PSG scored 6 goals, allowed 4, which is surprising. Newcastle has scored 4 and allowed 2. So you've really got to figure out.
I think Dortmund Newcastle might be the biggest game of that week.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think because that's on Tuesday, and then Sevilla Arsenal is on Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's probably what we'll cover.
The rest are more like, these are all point donors. I call them point donors. Benfica, not the Benfica, Galatasaray, Bayern Munich. You know that's gonna be a fiasco.
Yeah.
Even. One thing about Manchester, I'm not sure if they'll be able to beat Copenhagen. But, teams, Madrid playing Braga, that's just a slaughter festival. Yeah. So,
and even teams that you would expect to do better in the competition, by week 3, week 4, you start to see, like, whoever's at the bottom of the table is not coming back up.
Yeah.
So a lot of those games are kind of dead games.
City, young boys, City, that's where Haaland's going to be the best player. And
it's really shocking seeing Benfica 0-3 at the bottom of that group, especially because that group, I'm not saying they should be at the top of that group.
Yeah.
They should be second in that group under Inter Milan based on experience in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Because them and Porto both, they're teams that are, you're expected to get to the group stage, but more than likely lose in the round of 16. That's fine because they're the two biggest Portuguese teams. But that's what you would agree with that, right?
Yeah.
You expect them to get out and second in their group and then be the first ones to go in the round of 16. To see that performance in the group stage is very shocking, considering their history. But that's what I'm saying. By week 3, starting week 4, most of these matchups are dead matchups in terms of who can actually compete to get out of the group. So I would say that Dortmund, Newcastle, and then
that's really the game I'm looking for.
So we've got to watch more Dortmund with slow ass defenders and the inability to put the ball in the back of the net. Great, I can't wait for that.
Well, that's just the game.
Yeah, they are not fun to watch. There are certain teams that I might not be a fan of or a supporter of, but I do like watching them play because they're fun to watch. There are also teams like Napoli. I wouldn't say that I'm a supporter, but they are very fun to watch.
Yeah.
There are also clubs that are just fucking so boring to watch.
Yeah.
And right now, Dortmund is one of them. They are just, it's like watching molasses in a jar.
Well, what are your predictions? What are your top teams?
The power rankings?
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's get to this. All right, so I got 10 still. I think you still have 5. In order, City, Bayern, Madrid, Inter, Tottenham, Liverpool, Arsenal, Barcelona, Leverkusen, Girona.
That was 10?
That's 10.
Okay. Kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Especially with that win that Girona had this week. You're like, okay, like they are legitimate. I really want to see what they do. I mean, because at this point in the season, the results are the results, and they're legitimate.
Yeah.
So they are the real deal, whether you are surprised or think that they're not.
They
are.
That is true. They are legitimate. It's interesting to see because third place, you usually will see Atletico Madrid or sometimes Valencia, but Girona, that's crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I got Munich, Bayern Munich, 2 Paris Saint-Germain, 3 Bayern.
That's ridiculous. Sorry, that's ridiculous. Hold on. Why?
Well,
because they beat Montpellier 3-0.
They have to.
They're supposed to. Hold on, really fast. PSG is it's like being proud of the third grader for winning the spelling bee, but you're like, yeah, it took you until 8th grade to win the third grade spelling bee. Like, I'm not that proud of you. These results are expected.
I'm looking at overall passes, I'm looking at possession, I'm looking at shots, I'm looking at goals, and the overall, that's just it. You got Leverkusen. I got City in 4th, so
whatever.
You would think City should be second for someone or first, but nah.
But not me.
Not me.
Not this guy. Whatever.
Not me, because overall, I'm not just looking at you winning games every week too. I'm also looking at you possession-wise. I'm looking at you having goals. I'm looking at you shots per goal or whatnot, Then I got Tottenham 5th. I guess Stuttgart just lost. Although they've been doing good so far, but they just lost. I'll put Madrid instead. See, I got Madrid 6. You see, that's how I'm saying. I don't play favoritism. I don't play that.
All right.
After that, I got Barcelona 8. I got Newcastle 9. Then probably 10. I might go for. Yeah, I'll go for Girona on 10. I'll go for Girona.
There you go. All right.
See, Newcastle is there though.
Yeah, they're still wildly inconsistent though. They will have.
But on average.
Yeah.
Their inconsistency doesn't make them drop. It's like, oh, I'll bet 2 teams and lose to 1 team. But when I'm beating these 2 teams, it's the high ups.
Yeah.
It's
that is true.
It's like I hold these high ups at gunpoint.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested to see Tottenham.
It is frustrating having to put together these when you knew that a team that was guaranteed to be in your top 10 hasn't played this week yet, and we're in real time talking about like maybe they are not 5th place for me once this game is done. Probably, but they've been killing it so far, so I can get behind. Van der Ven's hurt.
Did I even mention Arsenal? I did mention Tottenham though.
Man. I don't think you mentioned Arsenal.
Tottenham is.
Oh no.
Oh,
he pulled his hamstring.
It's crazy because
now grabbing his own ass.
I'm looking at Tottenham. Tottenham has just lost one. They haven't lost. There's just 1 draw.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Tottenham has been killing low key.
yeah, definitely.
I want to see how consistent this will be throughout the year.
Yeah,
because it might just be a phase. It might just be,
and that's why no one's really talking about it as much as they should, is because they keep going, well, it's Spurs, they're gonna blow it.
Yeah,
so maybe they don't. But then in the back of their mind, everyone goes, well, it's Spurs. They still
it's the maybe. Yeah. Well, this week we had an interesting podcast, and also this week we be I guess having a podcast on an episode on the Champions League.
Yes, sir.
So.
UCL episode 4 will come out on Friday morning. Friday morning.
All right, and I encourage everyone to go like, subscribe, comment, share. There's all our links below. You're gonna have our Spotify, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Go on all those. All of them. Give us 5 stars, 6 stars. I don't know how many stars.
Be one of the guys that will comment like 9 times on the same video. Like, I love it. It's so much fun because every comment is a new point that's either proven or needs to be proved.
Yeah.
I really, or just seriously melt us down. Melt us down. Make little gold coins out of us. Do the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, on that, I will let you guys go. Bye.
Goodbye.